Hello, hello. Welcome to Thursday night sprints. It looks like I'm freezing a little bit, so I'm going to keep an eye on that. Please let me know if I do freeze. I got an Ethernet cable that I can connect directly to my laptop to see if that improves that freezing issue. I did restart my computer so that the cache is clear, and just let's see who's out there. Dina is here. Hey, Dina. She says, hello, everyone. I'm reading The 100 Years of Lenny and Margot by Marianne Cronin. Interesting. And Tori's here. She says, evening, everyone. I'm finishing up dinner, then searching for a new book to start. I just finished Head in the Clouds. Well, congratulations, and let us know how you liked it. Jeanette is here. Hey, Jeanette. She says, I love the Live at 5 title. It has a nice ring to it. Thanks. Thanks, Jeanette. I thought it was pretty funny. And Alma says, hello, everyone. And hey, Alma, how are you? And Morgan is reading The Souls of Lost Lake by Jamie Jo Wright. I still have only read one Jamie Jo Wright, and that was The Lost Boys of Barlow Theater. I do have Spectres in a Glass House that I'm hoping to read sometime this year. And Alma says, I'm going to read my first deck of TBR book, The Maid's Secret. It is for 5 points, finish a series. Is that Molly the Maid series, Alma? And Paige is here. She says, hi, reading Crossfire by C.C. Warrens. And Tori says, it was a cute read. I really enjoyed it. 4 stars. Very nice. So you guys might have seen on the thumbnail for tonight's sprints, I labeled it Cookout. So the theme for the chat today in between sprints is going to be all about food that you would eat camping out, during summer camp, during the summer outside, outdoors. So start thinking, what are some of your favorite foods? And Alma says, yes, Molly the Maid series. Have you read it? I only read the first book, but I do have the second book here at home physically. I don't know where it is, but it's over there somewhere. But yeah, I do want to continue in that series. I really did like that first book. So I forgot to turn the air conditioner on this morning before I left the house. So when I got home, it was quite stuffy in here. It's on. I'm letting the house cool down a little bit. And then I will turn it off because I can hear it and it's like really noisy in my head. And Alma says she is such a sweet character. I know, but were you surprised at the ending of The Maid? I totally did not expect that at all. But I did enjoy it, the book, not the ending. I mean, I guess the end would have rather have had a slightly different twist. But yeah, I do want to read the second book. So tonight for my dinner, if you were in my sprints last week, I think, or the week before, I talked about Spam sandwiches. That I do love the taste of Spam a lot. So I'm going to be having Spam sandwiches for dinner tonight. And it's pretty easy. I have some soft bread. I think it's like a keto bread. And I have some Spam, which I got to show you guys the can. I'll go get it in a second. And some shredded cheese. I don't have a fresh onion, but I have some onion seasoning. So I'll be I'll shred the Spam. The cheese is shredded. I'll sprinkle in some of that onion seasoning and some salt and pepper, and I'll just mix it all up, and then I'll spread it on the bread that I have and then broil it for 2 minutes. So it's really quick. I love the taste of it. The cheese gets all gooey and the Spam gets kind of toasty. I love it. So that's what I'm going to be having for dinner during the first sprint. I'll be making that, putting that together, and eating that. But let me show you that Spam can. I'll be right back. So I just put spam on my grocery delivery, and this is what came. Look at that. It's Hello Kitty. And on the back, it has a masubi recipe with Hello Kitty on it. Isn't that so fun? I showed it to one of my coworkers because she loves Hello Kitty stuff. And she's like, immediately, she's like, what store did you get that at? And I was like, I don't know if they have any more because I didn't get it in person. They just brought it to my house. But when I ordered it, it was just the regular spam can. Not this one, but look at how cute that is. And Alma says, your nails are so pretty. I love spam too. I usually just slice and fry them up. Yeah, that's how I usually have it too. But today I wanted to do like the spam sandwich, because one, it is also quick and easy, and with the cheese, it's just ooey gooey, and with the onion, it's very flavorful. And Jamie's here. She says, hello. Hey, Jamie. And Alma was commenting on my nails. These are nail wraps, and I did them for like 4th of July, but also there's like a little owl on there. I thought that was really cute. And Jamie got a new computer. Congratulations, Jamie. And she's setting that up. How fun. I went the last couple of days. I was out of town. I went to a town here in California called Salinas, and it is the home of John Steinbeck. He was born there, went to school there, had his first jobs there, and the National Steinbeck Center is there. And his house, where he was born, in one of the rooms of the house, is a restaurant now, and it's kind of like a not necessarily like a fundraiser, but it's like a nonprofit. And they do tours on the weekends, and during the week they serve lunch. And it is so it's so Victorian, that house, and walking up to it and seeing it is just amazing. It's like something that you see on TV, read in a book, and then to go inside, and it's still very much decorated Victorian, as it probably was when John Steinbeck lived there. I don't know what I did with my phone. But yes, and the museum was amazing. The detail that they put into the exhibits was so good, and it was very interactive. So I went with my sister and my mom and 3 of my nephews that are 11, 12, and 13. And you would think that they would be bored, but the museum, like, there's a replica bed of what his bed would have been like when he was a child. And it's really fun. And it has a throw pillow that says read, and up on the wall, there's like a lot of information, but it just looks like a simple bedroom because there was a chest of drawers, I think. But you can sit on the bed and read a book. They had books there for kids to read. They had a little table with a book with blank pages and some crayons so that they could color in the book. And there was an old automobile that you could get into. The door was open so that you could climb into there and sit, pretend to be steering it. There was a horse that they totally let you sit on the horse. And there was a truck. What else? And there was like little alcoves where they had screens and would be playing either information about John Steinbeck or like clips of his movies. I think they almost showed probably the whole movie of The Red Pony. Not the original one from the 40s, but the one from the 70s. It was, I mean, I only watched a few minutes of it. My nephew was sitting there for quite a while. But it was Henry Fonda, Maureen O'Hara, Maureen, that was the mom on The Parent Trap, her, and Clint Howard. And he played the little boy. And the scene with, like, I haven't watched that movie and I haven't read that book, but now I want to because it looked so good. Guys, we had my Humphrey earlier. Now we have my Audrey over here. There's Audrey. There's my Audrey. But yeah, it was such a great day. The food that I had a Monte Cristo sandwich and I had some carrot ginger bisque. It was so good, so good. I had a really great time, and now I feel like the drive was not too bad. I would do it again because there was just so much. I really started feeling overwhelmed in the museum because I'm the person that wants to read every little plaque, that wants to, investigate every little thing. But there was just too much in the time that we had to be able to do that. So I started picking and choosing like the books that I was more interested in or had a bigger connection to. I would definitely deep dive into those, and the other ones I just kind of like was going through, but I definitely want to go back and also have lunch again at that restaurant because the food was delicious and I just didn't even know what to choose because everything sounded great. And Jeanette says that sounds really cool. Yeah, I had a lot of fun. I'm really glad. I've been meaning to do this for a long time. My mom has been wanting to go for several years, and every time I see her, she brings it up and she's like, "We still need to go to the Steinbeck Museum. We still need to go." And you know, just life gets in the way all the time. But my sister, she's like, "We're doing it." She's like, "We're taking her." So she's like, I can go on these days. And I was like, well, I can't go on that one, but I can go on these. So we fixed the time. She booked the hotel. I booked the restaurant and got the kids and went. So it was really nice. I had a great time, looking forward to going again. Even the little town, I loved it. On our way, after we were done with the museum, we had lunch at a Foster Freeze. Do you guys have a Foster Freeze? I think they're only in California and Georgia now. I don't know if they were ever in any other states, but the one in California in Inglewood, I think it was the first one. And then it kind of spread from there. In my hometown, there was one or two there when I was growing up, but no longer. So it was really nice to find one there in Salinas and enjoy a wonderful lunch. So it's kind of like a Dairy Queen, but it was a more local type of restaurant. All right. So we've got some people in the chat. Let me know what you're going to be reading. I am reading 450 from Paddington. It's an audiobook, and that's going to work out because I will be able to make my little spam sandwiches while still listening to the book. Yeah, so let me know what you're reading, what you plan to do if you're not going to be reading during the sprints. And when we come back, we'll chat some more about some food, especially food. Do you guys like hot dogs? Have you done a hobo pack? Let me know. I did that when I went to camp. One of the nights we had like our dinners kind of planned out. There was like a main camp, and where all of the people that ran the camp, they stayed in that area, and it was a huge campfire with like lots of rows of logs. So all of us could sit on the logs during every evening campfire. But they planned the menus, and so we would go in the morning with our wagon to pick up our supplies and then go back to our campsite. And for our smaller group, we would cook our breakfast and everything. And then the same thing for lunch and dinner. We'd go with our wagon, get our supplies, cook our food. One of the nights or one of the days was like our hiking day. And depending on like what your age was, there were different levels of hikes that you could go on. But that night's dinner, whether you were out on a hike or you were back at your base camp, we did hobo packs with the hamburger meat, potatoes and carrots, an onion maybe, a foil pack dinner. So let me know if you guys have done any of that kind of cookout. I would love to know. But let's get our first sprint started, and we are going to do 40 minutes. So that's going to take us to 25 after. and I'll set up an ambiance. I don't have one ready, so I'm just going to start the sprint and then add the ambiance if that's all right with you all. Okay. All right, we'll see you back at 25 after. All right, we are back, and I need to set up how I'm sitting here, but I hope you all saw my comment. I did the math wrong. So we should have been back at 55, not 25, because that would have been over an hour sprint. Okay, let's see. Let me move this. Okay. All right, so let's see what we have here. Jamie says, I'm reading Crown of Destiny by Ashton Darrow. That sounds nice. And there's my comment about the time in the banner. And Susan's here. She says, good evening, all. And Jamie says, good evening, Grandma Susan. Kay's here. Hey, Kay. And Jamie is saying hello to Kay. And Kay saying hi back to Jamie. And Kay says she's in a reading slump. All right, let's get some suggestions for some books for Kay and her reading slump. What are you gravitating towards? Something serious, something light, something comedic, something inspiring? Let us know and we can get some recommendations. Let me think. Have I heard of anything that I think you'd like? Regency. Are you done with Regency for a while? And Kay says, I just pulled Jane Eyre off my shelf and I'm hoping it's all three of those things. I will tell you, my mom read Jane Eyre with me when I was pretty little. And I told her that I thought it was the saddest book in the world. And that was the beginning. I'm sure, I was going to say that I would feel differently now, but I started it a couple of years ago and it was still the saddest book. I just hated the way Jane was treated, but she grows and she goes through a lot of things, and she is making a life for herself. So you might like it, Kay, but it does start out not on a light note. Alma, what do you think? I know you were reading it not too long ago. And Jamie says, Kay, I think you might like this book that she's reading. And again, she is reading Crown of Destiny by Ashton Darrow. Tell us what it's about, Jamie. And Kay is loving Regency era. And Alma says, I just finished Jane Eyre last month, first time reading it. Kay's asking if you liked it, Alma. And Kay says, I don't know, maybe I can do sad. What about Emma by Jane Austen? Emma is long, but I find it hilarious. So I do recommend that one. I'm thinking either something historical or a classic, an easy classic, LOL. I feel like Emma, although it is long, is an easy classic because it's not throwing too much at you at a time. But yeah, I love it. So I think that would be a fun one. It is laugh out loud funny. And Alma says, yes, I did like it. It's one of those you think about a lot afterwards. I've been watching clips on YouTube from a movie of it, the 2011 version. I think I know which one you mean, Alma. I think I have seen that one. Let me see if it's the one I'm thinking of. And Jamie says that she loves Jane Eyre, and Alma says Jane Eyre was easier for me to read. Yeah, it is. It doesn't have like a lot of old words that you kind of don't know. I mean, there is some, but it is as far as the language, it's not one that's hard to get through. In cases, okay, maybe on the next sprint, I'll do a chapter from each book and see if they're working. That is a great idea. Okay, well, let's see. Jane Eyre, 2011. Let's see if it's the one I'm thinking of. because I watched that one and I liked it too, I think. Let's see. Oh, this is not the one that I was thinking of, Alma. I may have to watch it though if you're recommending it. The one I watched must be older than that. I think Mr. Rochester was Ciaran Hinds or Kieran Hines. And Jamie says the only thing is it is a bit of a biblical retelling, but set in a non-magical fantasy world, and it's gender swapped. Chrissy just finished it and loved it. And Kay says, Jamie, I think Christy said I would also love the book you're currently reading, but I need a fantasy break. LOL, if that's the book I'm thinking. Okay, I'm so sad because I finished Return of the King in time for your discussion, but I traveling? I don't remember what happened that Saturday and I missed it. And I'm sad, but I will go and watch the rewatch to see what everybody thought. I loved the whole Lord of the Rings. Yeah, I loved it. I loved the characters. I liked how it ended um, with Sam and his family and all of that. Yeah. And Alma says, I like the actor they have for Rochester, but I didn't watch the entire movie, just important scenes from the book. Yeah, that's Michael Fassbender. He's good. And Kay says, no worries. I can send you the link to the rewatch. Thank you. And she says, I loved Return of the King much more than The Two Towers. The Two Towers, like there were scenes in it that I really, really loved. But as a whole, I would say that probably was my least favorite of the three. And Jamie says, I get that, Kay. Yeah, if you read in multiple genres, do you guys get tired of a genre? I do read widely, but I think that mystery I read more deeply than anything else as far as like the number of mysteries that I read. But I love it. It's my favorite, and I don't seem to get tired of that one. I'm always in the mood for a mystery where I'm not always in the mood for a romance or a fantasy or a sci-fi, which I read all of those. Um, I don't read horror. I do like historical fiction. I've been reading a lot of that this year over my mysteries, not because I don't want to read a mystery, but usually because the historical ones seem to fit the challenges that I'm doing better than my cozy mysteries. But I love, love, love my cozy mysteries. And Jamie says, switching genres helps me from reading slumps for sure. And Kay says, I think I'm always in the mood for Regency more than anything. I get decision fatigue when choosing my next book. Yeah, that's why people do TBRs, but I am definitely a mood reader. So I don't tend to get decision fatigue because there's usually one book that's like a winner and pulling me towards it. Even if I have several, like I just finished all of my June books, so I'm starting my July. And I have so many books that I want to read. I started the Marlowe Murder Club. I think that's what it's called. And I was listening to it because it was an audiobook while I was driving. I started 450 from Paddington as an audiobook because that's my Miss Marple for this month. And I bought, but I haven't started yet. When I went to the Steinbeck's house, I picked up East of Eden, which I've been wanting to read. I think, Alma, were you reading this or going to read it or wanted to read it? But what's really cool is that because you bought it there at the Steinbeck house, they embossed it. And I don't know if you could even see that. There's like a little embossing circle on there, and it says John Steinbeck House, Salinas, California, Bestseller Gift Shop. That's the name of the bestseller, like a food seller. That's the name of the gift shop that's in the basement or the cellar of the Steinbeck house. So yeah, I got it. It's a chunker. My nephew told me that's a big book, Auntie Am, but this is the one that I want to read next. I've only read The Pearl by him. I haven't read Grapes of Wrath, which is my mom's favorite. So maybe I'll read that one next. But she also recommended Tortilla Flat or Tortilla Flats. She said it was a funny one, so I might read that one. And Jamie says, I want to read East of Eden soon. And Alma says, I haven't read anything by Steinbeck. I thought you were. I wonder who it was then that was going to read that. And Jeanette said, I need prompts because I have too many I want to read. And Jeanette says, I've only read Of Mice and Men by Steinbeck. My sister has only read that one too. And she's like, once was enough. But she's interested in reading some of the other ones. And Alma says, oh, wait, I did read Grapes of Wrath in high school. I did like that one. Okay. Yeah, that one is my mom's favorite. And don't you think, Alma, because of where we grew up and all of the ag and all of that around there, that it would be like a special like relationship that you would have to the book because of that? Definitely when I was there and looking at, it was really cool. They had a stack of his books, and in the stack of the books were numbered, and then they had a map of California, and they kind of had numbers on the map to kind of show either where the books were set or where the inspiration came from, like what part of California. So there's the stack of books, and they all have numbers on them. And then there's the map of California that has like matching numbers. It's mostly the Central Valley that's represented here, not all of California, but it was really, really cool. I'm going to kind of blow that up so you can kind of see. It talks about, you know, what inspired which works and stuff. I just think that's so awesome. And Alma says, yes, close to home for sure. For sure. I know, I mean, obviously Grapes of Wrath was set during the Depression and a little later, and I was not alive during that time. But even when I was growing up, there were people that had come as children to the town that I lived in and that lived in the migrant camps that I met like later on. And Alma says the book by Kristen Hanna, The Four Winds, takes place in Kern County too during the Dust Bowl. Oh my goodness. Alma, I might have to read that one, even though I'm a little scared of Kristen Hanna. Yeah, so that's something I might be interested in. Okay, guys, I made my Spam sandwiches. So I'll show you. I took a picture to show you. So this is what they look like before they're cooked. So the shredded Spam, shredded cheese, and the seasonings. And then I just used this keto bread that I happen to have. And then you broil it. And when you broil it, they get all toasty and the cheese kind of melts and crinkles, and the Spam gets warmed up and heated. And so there we go. Then I cut them into like little fingers. They're so good and super easy. All right, guys, we've been chatting for about 15 minutes. I think we should start our next 40-minute sprint. I'm going to continue with 450 from Paddington while I kind of arrange some stuff over here on the couch next to me. And then I might switch out to a physical book. Not sure. I do like having the audiobook. Maybe I'll crochet because that'll be something productive, and I can relax listening to the audiobook. I think that would be good. And then when we come back, I'm going to talk about next week's sprints, and what we're going to be doing if you want to join me in that. Next week, the theme is crafts. But this week, it's food. So, guys, tell me, give me your camping food. So, start thinking about it. Let me know when we come back. Let's talk about eating outdoors. All right, welcome back. So, did you guys think of some foods that you enjoy eating outdoors to let me know? Some of my favorite things to eat outdoors are hot dogs, especially like campfire, because you can grill the dog over the fire. I like toasted marshmallows. I like s'mores, but I think I prefer just a toasted marshmallow to a s'more. What do you guys think? Toasted marshmallow versus s'more, this or that? Let me know. And Kay said, Chapter 1 of Jane Eyre was so sad. My heart goes out for her. Same, Kay, same. And it's like that. You think, oh, she's gone through so much. And then she goes through more. And then she goes through more. Yeah. And Annie's here. She says, hi, everyone. I'm reading Homing by Grace Livingston Hill. And Grandma Susan is listening to Murder in an Italian Castle by Benedict Brown, re-listening to the series. Which is the first book in that? I've been interested in reading that series. And Alma says, I know, Kay, poor little Jane. Totally, totally. And Kay says, okay, I read the first 2 chapters of Jane, and I'm just going to stick with this one for tonight and see if I'm still in the mood tomorrow. I feel so bad for her and want a redemption story for her. Yes. And Tabitha, hi, Tabitha. She's voting for toasted marshmallows. And Dina also voting for toasted marshmallows. Do you guys find that the s'mores are just a little too sweet? Because I think that's what it is for me. Because I do love a toasted marshmallow, but I think that with the chocolate and the graham cracker, it just gets to be a little too much of a sweet mouthful for me. Let's see. And did anybody do those foil pack dinners on any camping trips or any camps that you might have gone to? The potatoes never quite softened in those. You have to cut them to a certain size because the hamburger will cook faster, but the carrots and potatoes take a little longer. And Alma says, yes, too sweet. I love marshmallows. Yeah, same, Alma. And Dina says, way too sweet. Oh, yeah. But I will have one like when we're roasting marshmallows and making s'mores at like family campouts or whatever. I will have one s'more, but then I will toast 4 more marshmallows probably. Because, yeah, I do love a toasted marshmallow, but the s'more is too sweet for me to have more than one. And if I could have like a half, I would even do that. Just to, say that I had a s'more. But yeah, I prefer just the marshmallow. Oh, Paige is leaving. Good night, Paige. She says, thanks for the sprints. Well, you are quite welcome. Have a great night. What other things do I like to eat? I love hot chocolate around a campfire. Let's see what else. My nephew made a brownie and I think a peach cobbler in a Dutch oven for one of our camping trips. I think that's like really good. What else? Someone, when I went to the girls' camp, made a stew in his Dutch oven that was so good. It could have been just that we were all hungry, but yeah, that was really good. We had to learn how to do different things when we were camping, and one of the things was to cook a pineapple upside down cake in an oven that we made ourselves. Those were hit and miss. Some of them were not cooked all the way, but some of them came out great. So you take the cardboard and you wrap it in foil, and I don't remember what all the steps are. And Tabitha says cobbler in the Dutch oven sounds so good. Oh, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Love it. Are you all campers or do you prefer not? I was talking to one of my coworkers today and she is definitely not a camper. Someone mentioned that they were going up to the Sequoias and they were going to be there, and she's like, "And what hotel are you staying at?" And the other coworker, she's like, "No, we're camping." And she's like, "But what hotel are you staying at?" Like that's the only way to be outdoors is indoors for her. So, but I love tent camping. Um, Cabins are fun too. I have done some camping in a cabin where you have to take like your own like bedroll or whatever to put over the cot, but at least you have a cot. And Jeanette says, I grew up camping with the family, but now I want a hotel. That's totally fair. I stayed in a hotel not last night, but the night before. And yeah, it was just like so heavenly to like not have to make the bed when I got up and to just have like everything available for me. And, we got little water bottles and chocolate chip cookies. And then the next morning, um, they had little to-go bags that had a waffle, an apple, and a bottled water in them. It just felt very pampering to me. Tabitha says, I haven't camped since I was a kid. Besides the bugs, I would like to do it again. I don't know. I guess we always had a bug repellent, but I don't know that there were, like, the bugs don't seem to be there until the nighttime, and it's mosquitoes. So if you have like the repellent, I think that really helps a lot. And Annie says, I remember making Bunsen burners at camp just to know how to boil water or heat soup. I don't remember how we made them. So my cousin's husband made some with a number 10 can. And I don't know what he did it either, but he was trying to show his kids how they could make like a little stove to heat water if they were cut off from like electricity and stuff. I think it's really cool that he likes to camp and likes to do all of that. But he is definitely trying to teach his kids how to do that too. That's so cool. What other camp foods did you have? I want to say that we probably had spaghetti because you just have to boil the pasta and heat the sauce. Let's see what else. In the mornings, I love scrambled eggs and bacon or scrambled eggs and sausage links for breakfast when I'm camping. And then with a mug of hot chocolate. Oh, that's so good. Annie camped at Yosemite once, and a bear was sniffling around, not right against the tent cloth. I was frozen in fear because I had heard of grizzlies killing a bunch of campers the same year. Ooh, that is so scary. I know. So my cousin's husband again is like our master camper, and I go camping with them a lot when they go camping, and he makes sure that we take anything that has any kind of a scent and put it in the bear locker. And the bear locker is a little away from where we pitch the tents, just to make sure. Do you guys know what a bear locker is? Um, it's a big metal cabinet and it has a kind of latch that bears would not be able to open. And it is recommended that you put all of your food in there. And again, like I said, my cousin's husband makes us put in our deodorant, our toothpaste, anything that has a scent goes into that bear locker. And Jamie says, she's back. I ran to get food. What is camping? LOL. Okay. You're not a camper, Jamie? What food did you get? I ate so I made 4 slices of the bread that I had, and I put this spam and cheese mixture on them. And I ate 1 slice plus like a little bit of a second slice. But yeah, it was so good. And I have enough that I can just like heat some up later for a snack or tomorrow for lunch because I'm going to see fireworks tomorrow night. And then Saturday, we're going to breakfast because it's my cousin's birthday. And then Saturday night, we're having a cookout at her house. And she gave me the menu. So let's see what my family is planning. She is planning dinner at 5:30ish, potato salad, corn on the cob, bruschetta, shredded beef, guacamole, and then fireworks in the front yard at 9. And then Sunday church at 9. And then dinner at 5 because it's my aunt's birthday and she's up here visiting. So, yeah, and Saturday is breakfast at Mel's and then back to her house for resting, swimming, games, and a mini charcuterie lunch. Tomorrow night, we need to take blankets and pillows for the fireworks show. Tonight, oh, I missed a dinner tonight. She did text me and she's like, hey, are you coming to dinner? And I told her no. Dinner tonight was a pasta bake. So I missed a pasta bake tonight, but I had my Spam sandwiches. And that was good. And Annie says the campers next to us left their food on the picnic table. Yeah. Yeah, I know. You don't think it's a big deal, but it can be a big deal. And Susan is at 60%. Very nice. How did everybody else do that sprint? I listened to 450 from Paddington, but then I thought I really want to pay attention to the Marlowe Murder Club because that's a new book to me, whereas 450 from Paddington, I've read it and listened to it several times. Not a new story. And I feel like I could get distracted where when I want to focus to like re-listen to it, I need to not be trying to do stuff around the house. But the Marlowe Murder Club, because it's new, regardless of what else I'm doing, I'm paying attention to that. And Jamie had Burger King nuggets, not much to choose from in my town. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I said earlier that I went to Foster Freeze when I went to Salinas, and that was a restaurant, kind of like a Dairy Queen. Yeah, I'd say that's probably the same. Does Dairy Queen do like food, like burgers and stuff? But Foster Freeze does. And they don't have them in my old town. And the closest one to me here, I think, is still like an hour and a half, 2 hours away from where I'm at, which is really sad because I really loved that chain. We do have other things that are similar to that. Basically, think of any little drive-in type of eatery with American food. So like hamburgers and corn dogs, fried burritos, and then ice cream, like banana splits and shakes, that type of cuisine. But yeah, I love it. And that feels like summer going to something like that. And Katrina's here. She says, hi, reading Spies, Lies, and Alibis, loving it so far, 23% in. Do I know that one? I know I've heard of it, but I'm not placing it right now. Natalie Walters. Okay, I heard of it, but I haven't read it. But I've heard of it from a few different people. And you're loving it. That's awesome. All right. My sister finally sent some pictures from our trip yesterday. And speaking of hotels, there's my sister, my mom, and I at the hotel. And I didn't go, just because I was tired, but they went to the beach. You can see that very well. It's my nephews. And guys, look at this. Is this Steinbeck Museum? Can you see his face up there? It's like a mesh that his face was. A photograph of him up there. It was really cool. I had a lot of fun. It was a good time. And Tabitha says, "Do you have Sonic in California?" Yes, we do. That restaurant sounds similar. Yes, the only difference is that Foster's Freeze did eventually have like where you could go in instead of tables. It used to be like you would walk up to order, but now like they're inside and there's tables that you can sit at and stuff. But Sonic is fun. I love that. The Sonic back home used to, there was like a vintage car club that would come, I think, like on Tuesdays, and they would take up all the stalls at the Sonic and the side stalls too. But it was so cool to see all those vintage cars in that kind of a vintagey type of drive-in. And Katrina says by Natalie Walters. Yes, I saw that. I haven't read anything from her. I don't know if she's a new author or has been around, but I have seen a few different people mention that book, and I think I need to put it up higher on my radar because I would, when I'm next in the mood for a rom-com, it looks like with some spies. Yeah, I should pick that up. Let's see. So the Marlowe Murder Club by Robert Thorogood. Is that his name? He is a writer for some of the British cozy mystery series that I love. And so far, this book is reading like one of those British cozy mysteries. It starts out with this lady that is taking a skinny dip in the River Thames that her house like backs up onto, and she hears a gunshot and then nothing else. And she finds out that her neighbor was shot, and the police are saying that it was an accident and self-inflicted, and she doesn't believe that. So that's like right at the beginning. But I'm enjoying it so far. I think her name is Judith or Juliet. I think it's Judith. And it seems like she's probably the main character, although from the little bits that I've seen, because they made a series out of it, it looks like there's more, and obviously it's called the Marlowe Murder Club. So there's going to be more people that are also investigating, but I'm just starting it. So I haven't gotten very far into it, but I am liking it. Let's see, where am I? I'm on chapter 4, and there are short chapters, like each chapter is like 10 minutes long. So far, it looks like they get longer as the book goes on. But yeah, I'm enjoying that. And I'm ready to listen to some more. So I hope you're all ready to read some more. And we'll go into, what is this, our third sprint, and we're starting at 10 after, we'll say. So that'll be at 50 after again. Enjoy your reading, and I'll see you back in 40 minutes. All right, we are back. How did everybody do that sprint? I listened to more of the Marlowe Murder Club, and I started to do my crochet, but Humphrey came around. I had to play with him for a little bit, and then I switched over to this like jewel game on my phone. So I did that while I listened. I am really liking the book so far, and the women are starting to get together and form their little club. Tori is back. She says, I'm back, was busy with family stuff, but I'm settled at home now. Still not sure what book I'll be picking. Nice. And Jamie says she listened to quite a bit. Tori says she started her doily crochet and picked up No Good Tea Goes Unpunished again. I love that cozy mystery series. I have been working off and on the last few days. I felt like crocheting, but not starting a new project. So I have this granny blanket that I'm doing, and just open that up. I've been working on it for a while, and this is how much I have so far. And it's in this yellow that I really like a lot. It's not a bright yellow. It's kind of like a mustardy yellow, but not, it doesn't have like that gray cast that sometimes mustard yellow does. It's more like a honey. And then it has like other bits of color that are woven in. So like this is a kind of a purpley gray here. And then there's like a white over here. And I think there's one other color that I think this one is more gray. So it has those colors mixed in, so it's not completely one solid color. It has those other colors that add some depth to the color. But yeah, I really like it, but it is tempting to my cat. So when I pull it out, I have to be careful that he doesn't come and snag it. I'm going to just put it away here so he doesn't get to it while I'm distracted. All right, Katrina says that she's going to call it a night. Hope everyone has a good 4th. Yes, happy 4th. And Tori says, oh, that's beautiful. Is it yellow or green? It's a yellow. And Tori says, oh, that answered my question, LOL. Yeah, so I do like that a lot. So since we're talking a little bit about crochet, next week's sprints are going to be craft themed. So if you have a craft that you want to work on, an audiobook that you want to listen to while doing that during the sprints next week, that would be a great time to do that. I also am going to be doing a kind of a friendship bracelet. So if you guys know the embroidery floss company called DMC, on their website they have some free patterns, and I think their website is just dmc.com. Let me look it up. But they have pattern for right now it's like World Cup, so they have different countries. And it's free patterns. You just go to their website, put it in your cart, and when you go to checkout, it just says download instead of like doing the actual checkout. But they always have free patterns on there for like cross stitch and embroidery. But yeah, I was very excited that they had the patterns for the bracelets, because to me that feels like such a camp thing to do, is to make jewelry. So if you guys are interested, again, it's just DMC, M as in Mary. And I think if you do a search for bracelet, it should come up. And it just takes, depending on which one you want, it takes 2 to 3 colors of embroidery floss. Let's see if I can find it. Okay, so these are some of the ones that they have. Oh, that's so horrible. That is not coming through, is it? There we go. So I'm going to be doing this chevron one that's Italy, but I'm going to be doing it in red, white, and blue if I have some blue embroidery floss. So if you all want to download one of those patterns and get your embroidery floss together, we can make bracelets together for next time. All right. I think we have time for one more sprint. What do you guys say? Do you want to sprint? Do you want me to pull out some of the question cards, or what would you like to do? If we start a sprint now, it'll take us to right about 40-ish after, and then we can end sprints at that time. We can also do a little shorter sprint if there was something that y'all wanted to chat about before we get to the sprint. Tori says a question card and then another sprint. We can do that. And like I said, it could be a shorter sprint, but also I have tomorrow off, so it doesn't need to be a shorter sprint. Okay. Do you remember your first job? My first job, coincidentally, since we're talking about crafts and such, I worked at a store called Beverly Fabrics. And I know it was here in California. They had locations throughout. I don't know if it was in any other state, but they sold fabric and patterns, sewing patterns. They sold also upholstery fabric and notions. Later on, I don't know if any of them are open anymore, but later on they started adding more like floral things to do, like floral designs, um, like silk flowers and stuff like that, and other crafty things, kind of like Michael's. They added, but when I worked there, it was pretty much fabric, buttons, sewing notions. I worked at the cut counter. I was just, I don't think I was even 16 yet, but that was my first job. I love to craft and sew even then, so it was a good fit for me. What about you guys? What were your first jobs? Anybody? First jobs? Jeanette, she delivered newspapers. Okay, Jeanette. Was it like the regular, like city newspaper that you delivered? Because now that I'm thinking about it, my actual first job was when I was like 9 or 10 with my cousin Bobby. We sold this newspaper called Grit. So basically, you ordered how many copies you think you could sell, and they sold it to you. And it was kind of like, it was a newspaper, but it opened like this, I think, but it had stories that were more like magazine stories. And I think it sold for like 25 cents. So my cousin Bobby and I, through our parents, would order a stack of these, and then we'd go to like the liquor store or like the little market down the street, and we'd stand out there and sell the Grit newspaper. Tabitha says that she worked at a local pharmacy for her first job. That's pretty cool. And Tori says babysitting was her first job. And her first big girl job was at a Christian bookstore. Well, that's so fun, Tori. I also did some babysitting, but just for like a couple of families. It wasn't something that I was doing a lot. And I didn't do it really for the money. It was more just to help out those families. I mean, they paid me, but it was more just to help them out than me, trying to make money from it. But that's fun. Pharmacy. Did your pharmacy sell stationery, Tabitha? The pharmacy that was by our house, um, some kids in the neighborhood, we formed a club. And the whole purpose of our club was to go to the pharmacy and buy stationery and then come back and like write in our notebooks and use our new pens. And Jamie says, I worked at our family's tax office for a bit, but then we sold it. So my real first job was at our library. Very cool. That's so fun. Jeanette says, we lived on a college campus seminary type setting. My parents were in seminary, and I delivered the Toronto Star Daily newspaper. Wow, that is so cool. That is so fun, Jeanette. I wouldn't have thought that that would have been your first job. Well, I don't know what I would have thought your first job would have been. That's so fun. All right, are we ready to start another sprint? We can go. Do you guys want to do to like 45 or to 40? What do you say? And then that'll be our final sprint. Let me know. Set up the banner. Let's go to 40. And we'll see you back to wrap up sprint. All right, friends, welcome back. We are rounding out our sprints here. I know we had some people leave. Tori Jane was good with either a question or sprints, and we did a question. Jeanette was heading out during the sprint as she has to work tomorrow morning. Guys, I almost pulled a Reese and fell asleep there. Like, I nodded myself back out of it. I am tired. And Tabitha says, I'm good either way. Tori says, thank you for the sprints. My husband needs me, so I've got to step away early. Have a great evening, all. Everyone, I hope you do have a great, great weekend. And happy 4th of July. If you are going to be out there, be safe. If you can do fireworks, don't do any of the illegal ones because we don't want to start any fires. And yeah, so I hope you all have a great weekend. Hope to see you next week. It's again the craft theme. I'll try to post the sprints earlier today. Because I was on traveling, I didn't get a chance to do it earlier this week, but I do like to have it usually by Monday, Tuesday at the latest. I will try to put it up on Saturday this week though, since I do have tomorrow off. I can get all of those pesky house chores done early, so I'll have time on Saturday to do some fun stuff. Jamie is saying good night to everyone, and good night, Jamie. And again, I hope you all have a great 4th of July, a great week, a great weekend, and a great evening. And I will see you next time.